Hey everyone, Matthew here, and I'm back again with another video for Relationship Lab. In today's video, I want to do a real deep dive on the #1 communication mistake that could secretly be damaging your relationship: contempt. Now, contempt might sound harmless on the surface, but it's actually one of the biggest predictors of whether a couple will ultimately break up or not down the road. Researchers have shown this time and time again. But first off, what exactly is contempt? Well, contempt is any communication that comes from a place of disgust, condescension, sarcasm, cynicism, or hostility towards your partner. It could be name-calling, mocking, aggressive body language like eye-rolling and sneering, or just a generally cold, dismissive tone. Essentially, contempt involves speaking to or acting towards your significant other in a way that puts them down, makes them feel small, ridicules them, or shows your irritation, disrespect, or utter dismissal of them as a person. It's one of the clearest ways we can inadvertently communicate to our partner that we don't value them. Some examples of contempt include things like sarcastic, hostile humor intended to insult them, imitating or mocking them, ridiculing or shaming them, calling them belittling names, making disapproving facial expressions like eye-rolling or sneering, using an icy-cold apathetic tone that implies you don't care at all, bringing up past mistakes or flaws just to put them down. Now, contempt can take a lot of subtle forms, so it's important to be on the lookout in your own relationship. Do you notice yourself joking at your partner's expense a little too often, or sighing and rolling your eyes when they talk, or talking to them with irritation or aggressiveness to put them in their place? These might seem like no big deal in the moment, but contempt has serious consequences that build up over time. Research has found that of the 4 horsemen that predict divorce, which are criticism, defensiveness, stonewalling, and contempt, contempt is by far the biggest factor that tears couples apart. Contempt erodes closeness, intimacy, trust, and goodwill between partners. It makes the other person feel disrespected. It creates shame and humiliation. It convinces your partner that you don't care about them and that their needs don't matter to you. Studies have found that regular contempt in a relationship increases the production of stress hormones. It stimulates the fight or flight reaction and puts both people into a constant state of defensive anger and self-protection, all of which destroys intimacy rapidly. Contempt is especially dangerous because it's so corrosive over time. When contempt becomes an ingrained habit, it is very difficult to undo. Research shows that 96% of the time when partners display contempt during a disagreement, the issue remains unresolved even months later. So if you notice frequent contempt in your relationship, it's critical to address it before it does serious damage. Some key signs to look out for are things like you immediately react with irritation or disgust to your partner's opinions. You mock or use sarcastic humor to put down their ideas. You talk to them in a condescending or paternalistic way. You make disapproving facial expressions when they talk. You think negatively about them as a person when they annoy you. Now, we all mess up, of course. None of us can completely avoid contempt 100% of the time, especially when we get upset or are in a bad mood. But when it becomes a pattern, that's when major problems arise. So what can you do to prevent contempt from infecting your relationship? Here are some tips. When you notice yourself getting irritated, pause before reacting. Take a few deep breaths. Think about if you would want your partner to speak to you the same way. Treat them with the respect you want. Express what upsets you without insulting or mocking. Use "I feel" statements. During conflict, remind yourself that you care about this person. Fight the problem, not the person. Apologize after any slip-ups. It goes a long way in soothing hurt feelings. Seek couples therapy if you have trouble communicating without contempt on your own. Now, the good news is, even relationships that have become overwhelmed with contempt can heal. With practice, you can communicate frustration, disappointment, or anger without contempt or superiority. There are healthy ways to express disagreements. Listen empathetically, validate your partner's perspective, and criticize constructively without contempt. But it takes work, self-awareness, and the willingness to speak to your significant other with genuine respect, even when you're upset. When both partners commit to identifying and eliminating contempt, it is possible to restore understanding and goodwill. Anyway, that's my take on how contempt can secretly damage a relationship. Let me know in the comments if you've noticed contempt sneaking into your own communication and any tips you have for keeping it in check. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if you found it helpful. I appreciate all of you who tune in each week. Until next time,